Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate you making the time to do this.
Oh, Tony, I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you. I was really looking forward to this finally after going
Yeah.
back and forth on dates, times, and what one day, 2 day turned into weeks, turned into a month.
Yeah.
So here we
Well,
are, finally.
I originally wanted to come down there, like in October and in Florida, and there was a little intricacies like booking the studio and doing all the content down there. So I wanted to
Yeah,
push it off until like a better time for us. But I'm glad we're here to do
yeah.
this. So
Same, dude. Happy
awesome.
Friday, by the way.
Yeah, of course. Listen, Friday podcasts are the best podcasts.
It is because you're excited that the week is over, the week's ended, and the weekend's coming. So,
Exactly. Awesome. So actually, it's funny that my friend Robbie Zacharias, he said he was like pretty good friends with you back in New York. He kind of put me in touch with like your page when I saw
Robbie,
everything. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Do you
Dude,
do you
dude, I
remember
did
Robbie?
I did like a short stint with an NBA player, had like a clothing line, and he got me and Robbie together to do some like branding and photography. And Robbie and I worked directly together and ended up falling through. But no, dude, him and I together had a great, literally great past year
Yeah,
together,
awesome.
going back and forth. Like he was right there in the city. Dude, he'd be like, "What are you doing right now?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm down here in Pompano Beach, living life in 95-degree heat." And he sends me a pic of him on like Central Park,
Yeah.
just right there with the city in the background on like a Tuesday afternoon having a pizza. I'm like, must be nice, dude. Rub it in, why don't you?
So you guys, so did you grow up in New York?
No, so my mom's side of the family, they're all from there. They're all from Freehold, New Jersey, and
Okay.
grew up in the city. So my
Nice.
whole mom and her side of the family, all New York blood, but they from Jewish faith. But as the joke is, they all migrate down to Boca Raton, Florida, which where most of them reside. So,
Nice, awesome. It's
yeah,
funny because this studio too, like, there's a lot of connections here. Because Sam Schwartz, Schwa Films,
yeah.
that's like where I work. This is where I work out of his studio. So this is like
Really,
his back
dude,
room in his studio.
his
Yeah,
dude, I think I've been watching his videos on YouTube for
he's been around for a while.
probably, dude, I want to say 5.5 years,
Mm.
6 years, but now it's got to the point where like he only posts one video like every 8 months.
Because
And I'm just like,
he's so busy now. Because he's got the
exactly. And
production
I'm just
company.
like, dude, like, but
Yeah,
every time I see the drop on YouTube, I'm just like, up, click.
he's a huge role model for me. I got in touch with him like last year.
Yeah.
He's a maniac when it comes to work ethic. Like we just did a 12-hour shoot day yesterday on this production for a commercial, and then after he's like, "Oh, I'm going like a couple towns over to shoot this like drift car at night, like all night." I'm like, "Dude, what? Do you have time to sleep, are you just like always up?"
Dude. It'd be like, I mean, it's him, and also been watching a lot of this new one called The Lowdown,
Okay.
and it's some of the best automotive work I've ever seen. Like their Lowdown Tokyo recap video is arguably one of the best videos I've ever seen from last year. And then
Mm,
they dropped their alt race, which is in Poland. It's literally just type it on YouTube, The Lowdown. Dude,
okay.
it's arguably some of the best automotive content I've seen in the last 10 years. I'm not even gonna lie
Wow.
to you. It's like 30, 40 minutes. The production's unreal. It's
Mm-hmm.
some of the best sound, color grading, just event coverage. Like
Mm-hmm.
their Tokyo Underground video from last year just captures the car culture in Tokyo, Japan. But then when it goes to alt race in Poland, this is just a show. And it's like a
Mm.
40-minute weekend coverage of this show. And it's arguably the best show coverage I've ever seen. I felt like I was in Forza Horizon. Like,
That's
dude, the
awesome.
DJ, the drift units, the Porsches, the BMW, the E90s, the GT3 videos. Like, dude, it's some of the best work ever. And I'm not getting paid to say it. It is. Go watch the Lowdown video.
It's fun because the Motor Film Awards is a huge event, and I know Sam gets a lot of films nominated into those. And
Mhm.
I just made one, and it luckily also got nominated. So both me and Sam are going over the Motor Film Awards in
Okay,
London
dude.
in October, and I
Congratulations.
wonder, thank you, and I wonder if that film is also nominated for like
I
best
don't
event
know, dude.
film.
I hope so. If that's the case, I mean, I I hope so. That would be rad.
Yeah.
I still think to this day some of the best automotive work that I've seen was those Pennzoil commercials back in like
Oh man.
2016, 17, 18. Like those, dude, and I don't know what happened to that company. I don't know why Pennzoil stopped paying them, but that production company was that.
The
I think
last
that video
Viper.
made me buy my Hellcat initially.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
it's those were insane. I actually one of the guys I interviewed, he was friends with the director for that last Viper commercial where it was
Wow.
like in the warehouse
Wow.
and it comes out, dude. Production insane. They close down roads. That is like such an art, and that
Just the
is what I'm
sound
gravitating.
design too.
Oh yeah,
Like the
incredible.
sound, that dude, that audio, not auto, that that audio mixing is arguably
Mm-hmm.
one of the best I've ever heard. Better than a Fast and Furious movie, better than the Need for Speed movies. Like this was just real deal. Like
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was driving that Viper, and then the Dodge Demon commercial too was incredible. So
Yeah, the film like you look at photo and then video's got like okay, it's not just the camera, it's the audio, it's the production, it's the direct. It's like so big. But
yeah.
I know you're mainly in photo obviously, so I
Mhm.
wanted to know like when did you want to start shooting not only just cars but like just photography? Was it always something you liked doing?
It was so back in my senior year of high school, I was going through, it was just my dad and I and my stepmother. We're going through that part, what are you gonna do after high school? And this was, 12 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going through everything from following in their steps in both fire department, police department, and I was going to be a Black Hawk helicopter pilot.
Nice.
I submitted, I did ASVAP, submitted for warrant officer candidate school, and then like right then and there, uh, Bin Laden got assassinated by,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you know, during the Obama administration. And when they announced that happened, they were like, okay, yeah, you're not going to the military because at the time the tensions were so high, we thought World War III was going to happen. But obviously later down the roads that didn't happen. So in the midst of all that, when my parents weren't at work, we would always go to auto shows like the Miami Auto Show, the Fort Lauderdale Auto Show, or we would go to air shows like the Homestead Air Show, and then the Fort Lauderdale Air and Sea Show. So whenever I did that, my dad always had a camera. He had like a Canon. He had a Canon at the time, a Canon 4D, like
Mm.
literally a Canon 4D. And the cool part about it was he would always give me the camera to shoot. But then when we would go to the auto show, he had a 7200 on his 4D, 40D, sorry, 40D.
Mm.
This is old camera stuff. On his
Yeah.
40D, he would give me his 7200 there, but when we would go to like the Miami Auto Show, that 7200 can't shoot inside an auto show.
Absolutely, yeah.
You're in a tiny little, not tiny, but you're in like the convention center, harsh lighting, like 3000 Kelvin lighting. So at the time, I'm gonna really show my age here. I had the first ever Apple iPod Touch, and
Wow.
that had a camera on it. That had like, dude, this was like, I don't even think I have. I think I'll use this key fob.
Yeah.
This key fob, it was no bigger than this, and you
Wow.
just tapped your little thing or the little top thing. It was like, and it froze. It was like,
Yeah, yeah.
and then you had to wait for it to process and everything because they were shooting 1 megapixel photos at the
Yeah.
time, not even like 350 megabyte photos. Like, but I would shoot everything. And I remember I took a photo of a Lexus LFA, a yellow one,
Nice,
in the
nice.
Lexus booth. And at the time, the LFA was a new car. So it was so rad getting to do that. And I remember I took photos of everything. I was taking photos of every car at the auto show. We would go to the air shows. I would take photos of every jet. I would take photos of literally everything. And then it got to the point where at the time I was watching so many movies as you probably were too,
Mm-hmm.
and I was getting just I don't know. I mean, now me being 11 years into it, I feel like I see things or like I observe things or I observe life differently creatively from others, and I mean that humbly. Somebody else could look at something different from other. That's what makes us human. We could all look and view and understand things differently. So for me, in my eye, I was always surrounded by watching movies like Fast and Furious, by watching, like Paul Walker driving through Miami in the R34 was awesome. But even like the other stuff, like I grew up, Formula One wasn't a thing, in America back in the early 2000s. So for me, it was like watching NASCAR videos,
Mm-hmm.
watching like Dukes of Hazzard, like Johnny Knoxville's
Nice.
the reboot, but the driving in that, like the 69 Charger just drifting through Atlanta, like that's what I got from it. A lot of people other get like, Jessica Simpson in a
Yeah, yeah.
bikini. okay, that's cool. But for me, it was always the 69 Charger. For the NASCAR, it was always the big V8. For Fast and Furious, it was always Dom in the 70 Charger or Brian in the R34. And then when Need for Speed came out, it was the GT350 fake, but it
Mm-hmm.
was a Shelby. And then the biggest one for me growing up, cinematically and creatively, was watching Daniel Craig and James Bond. Like
Mm.
watching the elegancy of how they captured him and the chase scenes and him driving the Aston Martin in Quantum of Solace versus Skyfall and him driving the OG Aston Martin there and then
Incredible.
going into dude, I could keep going and then going into Spectre of him driving the concept, going into No Time to Die, which came out only a few years ago,
Yep.
him driving the classic Aston again, the DB whatever, don't quote me, I think it's like the DB one,
Yeah, I
whatever.
don't remember exactly,
But
but
dude,
that was beautiful.
it's all these movies and everything at the time when I started that got me where I wanted to take photos differently from
Mm-hmm.
everybody. What captured me always was that they were always moving. They were always they were in action. They were when you looked at it, when I saw like the poster, like dude, I played so much Forza Motorsport growing up, like Forza
Same.
Motorsport 2, 3, 4, when you had to play with the developers in order to get the Lexus LFA. Like, dude, I was so into the car thing, but the cool part is that they introduced photo mode in Forza Motorsport
Yes.
5. And
Yes.
that was when the F10 M5 got announced. So like, dude, I was taking photos in photo mode all the time. Like, dude,
Yeah.
that's where it all stemmed from. So like my
Yeah.
family, my parents showed me all that. And I was just so into just creating and creating and creating. And finally, when my dad got me a gift, he got me a Canon 60D. No, he got me a Canon T3i,
Mm.
which is this right here
Oh,
tattooed on me.
nice, dude.
There's a Canon T3i, and I remember he got that to me, and to him, his hobby was always photography. But he always told me like, dude, if you can make a career out of this, you're living my dream. And I'll never forget that because to me, watching being a firefighter, my stepmother being in the police department, like watching them, being a figure to society, and for me to do this, and I love it every day. Like I'm not even gonna
Mm-hmm.
lie to you. We'll probably get into that later in the
Yeah,
convo,
yeah.
but I love it every single second of my life. And at the time, we'll obviously get into this throughout the podcast, but it wasn't easy. It was hard, and
Of
just
course.
being able to create. But I was very blessed on the position that I was in. I was put into a middle class high school, middle to upper class high school, and I was put into that, and I had a lot of middle to upper class friends that had
Mm-hmm.
high value or high worth families that got them nice cars in life. So like I had um like a buddy of mine that had like the first ever bag G37 on air. Like at the
Mm.
time in 2013, 2012, 2013, when you saw a G37 on air, you're
Yeah.
like a 17-year-old kid. You're like, why is the car on the floor?
Yeah.
And Boston Wheels was becoming a thing. And one of my best friends today, he was very popular on IG. He's since retired now. He'll probably watch this. He had a bagged 535i. My buddy
Oh,
James.
nice.
He had a bagged 535i, and then he ended up getting a BMW i8, bagged
Oh,
that,
nice.
and then now he's gotten to so many cars. But he was a huge help in my push because he allowed me to take photos of his stuff and allowed me to promote my work. But before I rant on even more to answer your question, that's what got me into photography,
No,
and I've been and
I
haven't
love
looked
it.
back since. Sorry.
I love it. No, no, I love the detail, and also
Yeah.
a big thing on the Bond movies, the Daniel Craig movies. I am also like blown away from the
Yeah.
cinematography. That's like kind of what I want to do is like cinematography and like film
Yeah.
production, and just the production and the style and the vibe. Each kind of installment is a little different too. They have like a different
Hmm.
style, which
Hmm.
I absolutely adore. And I thought the Spectre, Skyfall, they're all like a little bit different in terms of, you look at like Fast and Furious, Mission
Yeah.
Impossible. They're kind of like neutral grade, neutral, like they don't
Hmm.
really take any risks stylistically.
Yeah.
Whereas you look at the Bond movies and you're like, that's a vibe in and of
Yep.
itself,
Yep. Like
which
I think
I,
of Casino Royale, and I just think of the Bahamas, Miami,
mm-hmm,
Italy poker tournament, and then you go to Quantum of Solace, and you're like Italy, Bolivia. They go
yep,
to Haiti, they go to Austria, and then you go to Skyfall, and I think that was all more London, like all downtown
yeah,
London, and then Spectre was I think more Upper East to like I think Spectre was mostly like more UK, but then going into like Germany, more
Yeah,
more
yeah.
into like Scandinavia, more
Mm-hmm.
into I think more like Armenia, Romania, and then No Time to Die. Lastly, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that was like,
I think the beginning
dude, that
it
was
went
like
through a few.
Greece going
Yeah.
into like I forgot where the ending was. That was like some island, but even in No Time to Die, when Daniel Craig is walking and the Aston Martin DBS Superleggera comes from behind him, I'm like, you got
Mm.
it. I'm sitting in the movie theater. I'm 30 now. At the time, I think I was like 27.
Okay.
I was sitting here. I brought my mom because she loves Daniel Craig.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I'm sitting here when he's walking in that scene, and you see the DBS
Yeah,
Superleggera
yeah.
behind him. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, I
I was
know.
like, this is my favorite part of the whole fucking movie.
I know. It's when you look at it from a lens, you could look at those movies from like a lens of car lovers, from a lens of cinema lovers. Like it's such an intersection of styles, which I love. So, you kind of got into the hobby, we explained that. But when was it like that shift of, okay, I want to do this like professionally and actually make like a career? And like what were the first couple of like real professional gigs that you
Mhm.
did in the space?
It's a very good question. Uh,
Might be a blur. I know you,
no,
you shoot a lot, but
Tony, you're spot on. So it's a very good question. So when I was shooting all throughout high school, I graduated, and at the time I was a butcher. I was
mm,
like a meat cutter at a supermarket, and I was doing K Fletch stuff. But at the time, Instagram was nowhere near what it is now. Like reels weren't a thing. Like videos weren't a thing. You only got to post one photo. You only
yeah.
got to, you couldn't post stories. You couldn't post your geotag. You couldn't do any of that. So at the time, it was just my name and my portfolio was what I put. And like people, like what people were doing for the day, like a story post, people were making hard posts on that. So like you only found out what you were doing when people would share that,
Mm-hmm.
or like where people were if you would share that. So at the time, like I was just doing everything for free. I
Yeah.
was shooting for free. I would go to work and then I would either leave work, I'd call out, I would do anything I can to get a gig, and I would just shoot as much as possible for free. I would travel to Orlando Speed World to shoot like Formula Drift events because they gave me a media pass.
Nice, nice.
They didn't pay me; they just gave me a media pass because they're like, "Yeah, we think you could help us." So I was like,
Yeah.
I literally like, called out the next day at work and drove up there.
Yeah.
And that was fun. But yeah, that's a good question, man. I'm just trying to. It's not a blur. It's just me trying to pinpoint exactly where. And I would say I started in 14, so 15, 16. I'd say about 17. It was
Mm-hmm.
around the time, um, the 2016 SEMA show. They wanted me to go out there, and I had a buddy of mine who had a car that was going out there. So I ended up doing coverage of SEMA. And at the time, like these influencers weren't a thing. So I'm speaking at a time where you go to SEMA, you'd get your photos and your videos, and you could only see videos on YouTube, and you could only see
Mm.
photos on Instagram. Like that was it.
Yeah.
So I went out there and I remember I had to work like 3 days back to back to back, and my buddy was like, "Oh, we missed the shipment. I have to drive my car out to SEMA," and I was like, "Dude, from Miami to Las Vegas, it's like
Yeah.
a
It's long.
38-hour drive." And he goes, "I'm down if you're down," and I did it. We left at like 1 o'clock in the morning. 1 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday, which was technically Thursday,
Yeah.
and we drove all Thursday, all Friday, and got to Las Vegas Friday at like 8 p.m. And
Jeez.
the SEMA was started that Saturday, like the pre-stuff Sunday, and then SEMA actually started that following Tuesday. But we had to get there early to stage the car. But that was my first real gig. That was about 3 years into shooting for free, and I covered all of SEMA. I was there the entire week. I didn't have enough money to even fly back. I had to get my parents to help me on that one. No, I got my uncle to help me on that one. It
Mm.
was like a $300 Southwest flight. I literally went out there on a whim, and then since then it kind of all took off from there. I met the phenomenal team at Lexus and Toyota, and then I met the people over at Dodge like a few years after. So I don't want to branch too far. I don't want to rant or bored
So
you, but it
those.
all started. It all started about 3 years in, and then right when I started to see, at the time, getting attention and getting spotlight, and unfortunately, you know, creating a little bit of an ego, and that kind of made me go, all right, I'm not stopping, and I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna stop at all. And then my biggest break was when Porsche hired me, and
Yeah.
and that was like my biggest like. wake up call, ego check. That was really it. So I'd say March of 17 was
Okay.
the big one. So that was already 3.5 years into it. And then that's when I went, yep, I'm doing this.
So I love that, you harped on like working for free because a lot of people they don't,
Mhm.
or they even when they start out they don't want to work for free, and I think
Yeah.
that's such a miss. Like, what are you doing? What do you have to say to people that are like that don't they don't want to work for free? They think it's like not worth it.
So that's another good question, Tony. Now, I feel like I can answer these all, very distinguishedly with honesty because now, since I always break down creators on if you were around before COVID or if you were around after COVID. Um, the new generation of creators now are very impatient. They feel like their egos are through the roof and they feel like they don't have to put in the work to get paid for it. They feel like they already know their worth. And I strongly disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
One of my biggest one of my biggest muses in this world. There's three of them. Two of them are really good friends of mine. One's named Sam Dobbins, and another one name is Anthony Anderson. Sam Dobbins used to be the creative director of Austin Wheels, and then he ended up becoming the creative director of Rotoform, and then MT. I forgot anything after that. Worked for Ken Block, big guy. Ken Block passed away, unfortunately. God rest his soul. And now Sam's
Mm.
just doing freelance stuff. Anthony Anderson used to be the creative director of Austin, moved over to be work for Rotoform, then Airlift, and then we all keep in touch. But those guys, when I first started, they were there, and they were OG creators. They were people out there shooting film, developing in a red room, going out there, modifying cars for the culture. They didn't do it for the internet. They did it for the culture, and that was their big thing. Like when Voss and Wheels blew up in the early in like 2012 to 2013, like it was for the culture. It was like
Mm.
you'd see a poster of a model of a car with the Voss and CV3 on it, and you're like, dude, I want to be a part of that lifestyle. Like that was it. They would capture that. Now you do it for the internet. You do it for the likes. You do it for the reshares. You do it for the
Mm-hmm.
to the sendings. You do it to the all that. So
Engagement.
exactly. So my answer now to your question, I would say okay, so the answer I would give you would be this. I would say the biggest advice I got was that you never know how much you're worth until you get your time wasted. And
Mm.
I always shot for free and free for free, but then I got to the point where I started getting, you know,
Yeah, absolutely.
why is this guy taking 30, 40 minutes, an hour to get here? And then that's when it kind of set in. It was when you're out there in the field and you're working out there in the field, then you start going, yo, this isn't worth it. And
Mm-hmm.
then you start going, okay, now what's my shoot rate worth? $50, 100 to 150. Now it starts weeding out people. Now it starts weeding out the people that are I don't want to curse too much. Start
No,
the
you're all
bullshitters.
good. All good.
And I'll never forget this is just in relation to the answer of your
Mm-hmm.
question
Yeah. Yeah.
was I had a shoot one time down in Miami back in like 2018 and I was sitting there for an hour, and one of my best friends, still to this day, Hugo, he was next to me, and he always taught me that because he got a degree in political science and business, so he would always teach me that, and he
Mm-hmm.
always watched in his college days. He would always watch like House of Cards. He would always watch these shows that teach you that, or like later became movies like Glengarry Glen Ross or The Boiler Room or all that stuff. So I didn't know any of this. So I would get frustrated just waiting there. And he'd be like, "Yo, leave! Like these people
Mm-hmm.
need to understand that you don't work for them. You're there to create. You're there to make them happy. Leave." And the second I started building up that tolerance, I started attaching what I believe my time is worth. And
Gotcha.
that I never cared about what the other creators are charging. What like I just feel like when you worry about other people, that's when you're just gonna fail at it. You
Yeah.
have to keep this narrow tunnel vision at the end of saying, I want to do this, I want to be this, I want to be this, I want to be this. Everything else is just gonna be fugazi next to you. So to
Mm-hmm.
answer your question, my answer to all these new creators to this day is honestly, you never know. I'm going to stick to that. You never know how much you're worth until your time wasted. Those people out there know what the market value of your job is, what you offer, what you could provide, the photos, the videos, the content, the ownership, the rights, the originality. Like you always have to know you shouldn't be using, in my opinion, you shouldn't be using presets. You should be out there editing every photo raw and creating what your brain or how you see stuff. So for me to answer it, you just
Because there's a lot of benefits too, right? I think like obviously there's the time wasted, and that's like the tolerance where you're like,
Mhm.
okay, now I know I should charge much, but what are the benefits though for people starting out that kind of almost don't want to do anything for free? They're mainly like, I want to get money, but like what are the benefits creatively that you get just from shooting for free? That's kind of the emphasis here. Like where yes, there'll be a point where it's too much and you kind of have to like start charging, but like what is that initial phase of like, no, there's a lot of benefits here.
So now to answer that part, I feel like that's the other side of shooting for
Yes.
free. Now
Yes.
I feel like shooting for free, if the opportunity were to arise, like if like a celebrity or somebody were to like message you saying, or the opportunity to shoot a very rare car or something like that. Now that comes into the term where that what's the benefit for you? What are you getting out of it? Because you
Yes.
know that they're coming to you because you offer something of value. You offer good photo, video work, and you also offer the potential of exposure for said car or brand or business. So now in terms, if they say, hey, we want to work for free, we think this could help you. Now you have to stand aside and go, okay, how is this going to help me?
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, the last free shoot I did, the last free shoot I did, I'm
Been
just
a
being
while.
honest here. I'm just trying to think. Oh, dude, the
They're always good
last
though to do, right? Like
there is no,
occasionally.
you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. You're really not. And you might have to jump cut this part of the
Yeah,
video.
no worry. We can
I'm
come back
trying
to
to
it
think like
too.
the last time I knew it was recently. I did something where I'm like, yeah, I'll do it for free because I really wanted to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, it's getting narrower. It's getting narrower. It's got it.
Oh,
Okay.
you got it. You got it.
Okay, so a good friend of mine who's become a client of mine that has become a friend of mine. His name's Q, and at the time when he got his Lamborghini SV and I shot that car for a wheel company or like whatever, he got a Ferrari Pista, and no, no, Q was not this. I remember it was a Ferrari. No, it's not. Q, if you're gonna watch this, love you, buddy. It's not you. I remember it now. It was my buddy Joseph out in California, Huntington Beach. He has sold it. This man has changed my life. He's helped my life. And when I found out that he had the only Grigio Telesto Ferrari 458 Pista with a baby blue center stripe, carbon fiber interior, and real BBS E88s slammed, I said, I'm going to do anything in my power to shoot that car,
Mm-hmm.
photo and video work, because he was a good person. He wasn't a scammer. He wasn't a buy my courser. He wasn't a, he was a real deal individual and a cognitive research professor that helps and benefits the healing of childhood trauma in humans and in adults. He changes lives and he helped change mine. And in all of that, I went, I don't care what you're doing. You're giving me the car, you're doing whatever, whatever. And he gave me the car to
Wow.
drive around and enjoy in California all by myself for like 2 days. And
Wow.
that was the last shoot I did for free. And I will never, he tried paying me for it. I said no. So to me, it's like, to answer it now, it's just like, okay, what am I getting in return?
Uh-huh.
I got so much mental clarity, therapy, love, and healing, which is not materialistic. It's not physically valuable,
Mm-hmm.
but he helped me view life he helped me take the step to view life at a different perspective now that I will forever shoot all of his cars for free.
I like that a lot. That's almost
Yeah.
like you know, there's more there
Yeah.
than just the shoot, which I love. I love
Yep.
that. So
You come
then,
in this world with no money, you're gonna leave it too with no money. So
mm-hmm.
to hear that value, that changed my life to better my friends, how I speak to new friends like you, and
Mm-hmm.
how I come across my relationships too. And it made he has his ticket punched to heaven for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
I
So
love that. So, you mentioned before you started working with Porsche, and that was kind of like the huge blow up for you.
yeah.
When did that happen? How far into the career, and how did they contact you? What was that experience like?
So 2017, again, this came around another part where I believe creators should really network themselves, get out there, meet people. I know a lot of I've met a lot of photographers and videographers that just don't that just hate talking to people, or are
Yeah.
just a little sociopathic, or just a little awkward, or a little
Yes.
just a little to themselves in their shell. And I get it, because creating is their way of being open.
Yes.
Being creative is their way of getting out there, and I respect that a lot. So for me, I was always very outgoing. Like I was raised in a big family. I have like a million siblings. So like, and I was went to a high school with a million people in it. So like sociably, my girlfriend always says, very golden retriever. Like I would always be out there
Nice.
and
I like
just
that.
make friends with people. And so for me, that was one of my benefits in branding and marketing for the K Fletch brand, was because I always wanted to talk to people. I always wanted to learn what they drove, what they did, what they had fun with. This was before the whole Daniel Mac rise. I was talking to people saying like, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" But like, I would never record it. I would always just be like, "But then again, I can't take credit for that, because everybody was doing that." Like, "Oh, dude, what do you do? What do you do?" Like everybody says
Hmm.
that still to this day. So it was my buddy Jason. He had a GT3 RS, ultraviolet 991 GT3 RS, and we were taking photos of it. And like the very next day, this is when I was a butcher at still. It was like my
Hmm.
last few days. Excuse me. And it was like the last few days, and the owner of the largest Porsche dealership in literally the world, um, reached out to him and saying, "Hey, I'm looking for a photographer only. That's it." And Jason reached out to me saying, "Hey, I got an opportunity for you. Or do you want to do it?" And I was like, "Sure, let's do it." Met up with the owner, and it was the owner's son. And he was like, "Hey," both of them were like, "Hey, we want to elevate." This was 2017. So this was like, again, like IG was like not where
Yeah. Yeah.
Instagram is today. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, like all the social media platforms, like TikTok didn't even exist. So like, like Bitcoin was still $2,000 at the time.
Hmm.
So like, at the time they viewed it and they were like, "Hey, we want to escalate. We think social media and internet is going to grow drastically for social media. We believe social media is going to be the way to promote your
Yeah.
brand and way for our business to run in the future. Let's bring you on board for that." And I was like, "Okay." And the first off rip, my the owner's son goes, "Can you pass a drug test?" Because at the time I had like crazy hair. I only had like one sleeve. Like, dude, I was different. I was a lot heavier then. Like, I didn't take my health seriously. My mental health was crazy. So like, it was nuts. And I was like, "Yes, I can." I passed with flying colors, and then ever since then and there, got the gig, and I've been working with them ever since. And big shout out to Mitch Mirage and the Mirage family. The owner did unfortunately pass away in an accident, but I did learn so much from him. He was a dude, was a pioneer. Dave Mirage, he was a pioneer in the world of automotive and motorsport and the automotive culture of Porsche. Dude was it was an innovator. He wasn't a boss; he was a leader. And there's a difference between a boss and a leader. And then all those characteristics, Mitchell Mirage, his son, absorbed, and was passed down to the phenomenal team there, the phenomenal team here. I'm here right now. The
Mm.
phenomenal team here, and I've definitely learned a lot from him. So big shout out to him.
So what's it like working for Porsche? Is it because it's a photography role? Is it like a per shoot basis or like how is
No,
that?
no. So it was at the time, it was a photography role, but it got promoted to now where I'm the marketing assistant.
Oh,
So
nice.
like now I'm assisting in everything creative wise, and like assisting in everything creative wise to the point where like now I have a voice at the table, and
Mm.
like of like, "Oh, I think we should do this." Like, to hear that, be working so hard, and that was only something recently, but in order to get that and to actually like be included in conversations. And big shout out to Wilson too. He's a creative mind of Champion, as well as Mitra and me, and many others. But working alongside him, and just to think, like, I mean this very humbly, like it was a photography role, but then it turned into way more than that.
Yeah.
Now it's
Yeah.
like photo, video, internet presence, everything marketing related, from
Absolutely.
product to every, like, just to summarize this all into a whole, it's literally a full-time thing now.
Mm.
And just to be able to do it every day, and to be at the number one Porsche dealer in the entire world, and to know that the marketing team is only three of us. Like,
Mm.
there's only three of us. Like, these other dealerships, or these other, like, Porsche themselves, who I talk to Porsche corporate a lot. These are massive teams. Like, these are teams of like 20, 30 people, 40, 50, hundreds. And when then we're over here just getting out there and just doing everything originally and organically, both photo and video wise, it was a very humbling and an amazing experience when both Mitchell Mirage and Wilson pulled me into a marketing meeting, and this was like right after like 2022. It was like January first week. Porsche used, I think, nine. It was like a 12 photo video slide. Nine of them was the work that I created and worked alongside with,
Nice.
with Wilson and Mitra on, that Porsche themselves mass showed every dealer in the United States saying, y'all need to be like this. This was
Wow.
the seeing that I'm like, but I
Yeah.
got to keep the ego down. And
Yes.
that's why I'm very happy that I have both Mitra and Wilson here to be like, yo, you're not shit. You ain't shit. Like you need that.
Yeah.
A creator needs that, because now I just view it as I'm just this little ant in the universe. And I'm very happy for that. I stay quiet. I stay in the back. I just watch and observe, and just being able to thoroughly get out there on a clear mind and create clearly and not have to worry about anything, I guess that's my superpower, I guess, is that now I could just free flow and create organic naturally and not have to follow a guideline, not have to follow X, Y, and Z, because we're so rebellious and we do everything in our own original organic way here, that it's just it to have full creative control, I would say, is my biggest blessing that
Mm.
I have. Yes.
Well, I assume because they're showing everyone your photos because you said before that you always worry about like the little things in the photos and the subtleties,
Hmm.
right? And like
Hmm.
that's kind of what creates the image. It's the lighting, it's
Yeah.
the sun, it's
Yeah.
all those little intricacies. And like a lot of people,
Hmm.
they look at it as a whole of like, why doesn't this look good? Like, what am I doing wrong? But it's like, no, it's probably like 10 different things you're doing wrong that are the
Hmm.
little things. So what
Yeah.
would you say, to maybe just like photographers maybe starting out, like what should you not waste time on when trying to like make a good image, or like what actually matters to you? Like where is that fine line of like a
Another
good
great,
image?
another great question, Tony. The fine line for me, I would say, would be, um, I would only, and I try to teach this to everybody that I meet, and that would be only create or do things, post things that make you go, wow.
Mm-hmm.
And I've come across so many people that have tried that and they just don't, oh, but I posted this, but I don't know what I think about this, or what, like, and I'm just like, then why even get out there and show the world that?
Yeah.
Like, for me, it's like, I only create things because I want to create it and go, damn, that's sick. I can't wait to show everybody that. Or like, because I care so much. And it might sound a little egotistical, but like, I do it because I love it. And I love
Yeah.
creating things that make me go, oh, this is so cool. Like, I guess that's what drives me still to this day, is that either if it's a new GT3 RS, if it's a GT3 Touring, if it's a Ferrari Pista, if it's a FSS SF90, if it's a F8 Tributo, if it's a SVJ, a Revelto, if it's whatever,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, if it's a Macan, if it's a, I shot an M3 the other day, like if it's anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, if it's anything like that, I want to create something that's not only in the proper sun and in the proper lighting. I only
Mm-hmm.
shoot crack of dawn or in the afternoon and the evening. So my windows are only like in a
Couple
24-hour
hours.
span. It's
Yeah.
only like here on your screen or like right here.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll never shoot after 9:30 a.m. I'll never shoot before 5 o'clock.
Yep.
Like for me, that's the best lighting for a car,
Yeah.
because you could work with the direction of the sun more, because now the sun's, you know where the sun's going to be. You don't have to worry about it being high up, casting a
Yep.
shadow or whatever. You know where the shadows are. You know how dramatic the shadows are. The more you turn the car, the shadow gets bigger. The more you turn the car, the shadow gets smaller. Like it's my way of controlling or manipulating the sun a little bit. Obviously, I'm not physically controlling or manipulating it. It's just
Yeah, but
my
you're
way
moving
of
around it.
being able to work around it and
Yep.
not bring in such harsh, bright, bright, bright. Because here in South Florida, when you're in very harsh and bright lighting, damn concrete is brighter than
Yeah.
white. You can't even see.
Yeah.
So like I don't know. I just like shooting or in the early morning and the evening. Um, I always love being color selective. I love everything matching with the car.
Well,
You ever
that's
look at a
huge. Yeah, that's
yes,
huge. The
yes.
color scheme. Like people don't think like, oh, like a lot of the films that I make, there people are like, what is so, like I can't put my finger on like what looks so distinctive because like it's not just the
Exactly.
grade, it's the what I put the talent like what they're wearing and what complements their skin and like
Mm-hmm.
those things and like where the scene is, what colors behind them. Like those the grade is really just complimentary.
Yeah.
You know,
So when you're
it's
like when you're making a video, Tony, it's like if you were to have like a yellow background or like a
mhm.
yellow wall,
Yeah.
and then you have a normal concrete floor. It's like what color car, what spec car would you put in front of that? And I always hit people with that, and they're just like black. And I'm like, whatever. That's everybody's go-to, right? For me, the other day it was a pink car. It was a
Yeah.
pink car with gold wheels and yellow brakes. And that's exactly what I did the other day. I have a brand new Spider RS here in Ruby Stone or Ruby Star Neo, and it had the gold neodyme magnesium wheels.
Mm.
And out by here, we have a brand new sports facility that has banana yellow, sun yellow walls. Hold the car right in there, and it matched perfectly.
Wow.
But you ask these newer creators, they won't know. They'll pull a silver car in there.
Yeah.
They'll pull a green car in there. Now, green could match with it, but another thing that to go with you on the color grading, like
Yeah.
when
Yes.
you're videoing, it's like when you have your color wheel, the opposing opposite color is what
Mm-hmm.
matches with it or what would go with it.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't like a lot of people don't even know
They don't
that.
think about that.
They don't.
Yeah.
They just think they could go out there off pure capability and create trending
Yeah.
or cool shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like they just go out there in hopes that it'll I maybe that'll pop off, but then it doesn't. And then you get people that are like, well, my work sucks, and then they defeat themselves. And it's like, no, put in the effort,
Just
understand
yeah.
composition, understand like sunlighting, understand the rule of thirds, understand everything, understand depth of field, understand f-stop, like understand how all that works. Like the biggest thing that I ask these people like, do you know what f-stop is? No. Do you know what aperture is? Yeah, it's the same thing. Like
Yeah.
so I'm like, yo, take your finger in front of you and just look at it.
Yeah.
How blurry am I in the background? Then it's like, how blurry am I now? That's exactly what f-stop is. And nobody, dude, like 90% of people don't even know that.
Exactly.
No.
Well, then there's also f-stop and then t-stop in like the cinema world. So
Yeah.
t-stop is more accurate like reading of light versus f-stop. But that's a whole another
Dude,
discussion. But
and like I'm starting to get into video now. I've been doing video for only about a year now. And like S log
hmm
versus correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's S log and then like M log or something
there's a
like that.
ton. Yeah. So like every camera maker has like their own proprietary log.
Yeah.
Like, there's like DJI's D log. Then you got
Yeah.
like S log, then C log is Canon, and then like the list goes on and on. But then there's also levels of the log. There's like
Mm-hmm.
S log 2, S log 3. There's like
Oh.
HLG color profiles. There's Cinetone. It's like there's so many little like color profiles too on top
Yeah.
of that, which is insane.
And
But
to me, it's just like when I was learning what log meant, and they were just like, it's pretty much just raw video. I go, why don't they just call it that?
because
That was like,
there is raw video too.
okay.
That's
So see,
another
now
thing.
I'm learning something now.
Exactly. So yeah, there's like the log, and then you can shoot like high end cameras shoot in RAW, where you actually have it's like a photo. You can change the white balance like crazy on it. Like S log,
Okay.
you can't really like change it from completely like 2700 Kelvin all the way to like 6000. You
Yeah.
on a RAW video you can get away with that because there's an incredible amount of flexibility. But
And
I
so
think
now I learned something new today. So
exactly. There you go.
Teach me that.
The complementary colors are a big thing and something that I think it's just about intention. You have to be intentional with what you want to make and the feeling. 'Cause a
Mhm.
lot of people they just go out and shoot, but like, what's the goal? What are you actually trying to create? What's
Mhm.
the vibe? How can you use these tools around you to like make a convincing image? Is it the complementary colors? Is it putting the car like if it's a muscle car that's very rough and tough, put it in a rough and tough space, like maybe like
Mhm.
a railway yard or something cool, like with beat up roads or
Yeah.
obviously not like roads with like nails on them, but
Yeah.
something cool with like concrete
I could
walls.
put a 72 Camaro in front of a private jet, even though it probably
Yeah,
doesn't look cool
it
because
would
you
look
don't see
cool.
that. But yeah, no, there's always a proper setting and a creation of that setting that I agree with you on, and I think you're spot on with that because, like for me, with every car that I shoot, I create the vision in my head that I already know how it's going to look when I'm done. But it's just the execution process is the fun part about it. It's putting it all together, and making everything work. Putting all the pieces together is what I should say.
So would you say that you you almost like thinking about the edit while you're shooting. And have you ever been like, has that ever helped you when you're shooting and you're like, okay, in the editing room, I might want a photo like this to complement the photo I just took, or
Yeah.
something?
So no, yeah. Another good thing that you just said as well. So for me, it's like to piggyback what you were saying is
Mm-hmm.
yeah, every shoot that I do, I already know how it's going to look, and it's all it comes down to executing it. But yeah, every single photo I'm taking, I already know how it's going to be. But then sometimes it doesn't. Like there's cars that photograph very well, but then there's like those rare instances, those rare situations
Yep.
of it's like instantaneous where like I'll immediately know like okay, this isn't working. Like if the sun's not working immediately, I'm like I get
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
irritated. Like I'm just like, okay, this isn't working, or like maybe the sun's a little too orange today, or maybe the sun's a little maybe there's a cloud over here. So when the evening sun has a cloud in front of it, everything's blue.
Yeah.
Everything's like 1,000 Kelvin blue, like ocean blue. But then the second the sun comes up, or the second the sun breaks through the evening cloud, 7,000 Kelvin level warm, and it's just like those days could be really frustrating. Like I had one car that I met up with over here in Boca Raton. It was a Ferrari 812 GTS, and it had some no
Nice.
up on it. It was all murdered out in red. I posted a cool video on there. That one, all that went perfectly. But before that, the sun was blocked by rain clouds, and
Mm.
everything was blue. Like, dude, everything was blue. And between you and I, when you edit white balance on something that's very, very, very harshly cool,
Yep.
it just doesn't look good.
Doesn't work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could slide that slider all the way to oblivion level of warmth, and okay, it'll look better, but it just isn't
You're
natural.
also cooling
I
off the
hate that.
red. It's
Exactly,
just
and
not
I hate
working.
that. The red looks cherry red, and it's just not my thing. And those are the moments where I go, ugh, and
But
that was good
but
for me.
that's important because you have to be like, okay, you have to budget almost sometimes, not everything's going to go the way you expect.
Exactly,
And like, how do
exactly.
you have to have that, whether it's a backup plan or whether it's just like not getting so frustrated in the moment. I'm like, okay, like I know I don't have this whole place booked out. I can't book out the sun to be a certain way. Like, this is just how the
Exactly.
world is.
Like
Right.
you
So
only
like,
have an hour and a half, 2 hours to get the job done. So that's
exactly.
great.
So that tolerance you probably built just by doing it more and more of like, okay, I know some things just might not be in my control, right?
Yeah, and then I always have a backup plan. Like a good shaded area on a black car will always be your best friend.
Mm.
So like if not just shaded by tree cover or by cloud cover, but going to a more industrial environment where you could definitely get something that has no reflections off of it, coming off of it at all, like a behind the warehouse, or if
Yep.
you're this is plan B stuff. So like either behind like or like a rooftop with a lot of concrete or something where you're shaded, that could help balance everything out because then you could heavily rely on your white balance in the camera to fix you. So again, so yes, as you were saying, not everything will go out in your favor, but you always have to have a plan B.
With when it comes to spots, this is just kind of something I'm curious
Mm.
about because I back in the early days when I started, so I'm in Long Island, so I've
Mm.
been all across the island, like just scouting on like weekend nights, just looking
Do you
for
ever leave the
spots.
island? I heard like you guys never go to the city.
So for like you're saying for like video
And
productions
no,
and
in
whatnot.
general, like an islander.
So I think, yeah, there's a culture of Long Island that's like, they think it's like the best place in the world and like
Hmm.
nowhere else matters.
Yeah.
For me, I go everywhere, but I know people here that are like very much pro like Long Island, like till they
Yeah.
die. It's just
Like
like,
they don't even like go to like a Rangers game. They're just like New York Islanders until
yes,
I die. And you're
there's a
just like,
lot of people.
get a life.
Yes, there's a lot of pride around being a Long Islander from Long Islanders, and there's always a kick. You cannot say in Long Island; it has to be on. So
Love it.
like that's
Love it.
again, I'm just observing at this point. I've been all across the country, but yeah, it's there's definitely a hometown vibe here, which I like because all the towns are very close together too. So you kind of
Yeah.
know like, oh, the guy town over, like you see him out somewhere, like the
I knew I
bars.
heard a little accent on you. I was just trying to pinpoint
Yeah,
where it
yeah,
was. Because I knew
Long
your
Island,
last
yeah,
name was Italian, but I was just something
yes,
I'm like, how real deal is he? Is he
yeah.
Bronx Tale Italian or is he Goodfellas Italian?
It's funny. It's funny because working with productions in the city too, like people will be like, "Oh, you're from Long Island." Like they'll
Mhm.
know right away. I guess like I gotta own it. I actually did a
I'm from
podcast
Staten
with
Island. What are you talking about?
yeah, I did a podcast with a cinematographer who's based in LA now, but he's from Huntington, New York, which is my hometown in the island. And he was saying out there they even catch it from him right away. Like
Yeah.
you're a Long Islander. I'm like we just own it.
Yeah, good. I mean, I had
So
nothing but respect for all you guys from New York and stuff. My whole other half of my family's all from there, so
mm,
I'll forever love going there. Forever appreciate everybody from there.
the car world here, I guess, going back to the spots thing, it's very hard to find good spots in the island
Mhm.
just because it's so congested all the time. Like there's not a
Mhm.
lot of free space, I guess, per
Mhm.
se. It's hard to find those niche spots. So I'd go all out, going out around to warehouses and different industrial parks, like looking for spots. Is that something you do to find like good spots? Like, do you go out?
So when I'm driving, I'm always looking. Like
Yeah.
when I'm driving, I'm always looking, wandering. And like for me, just being down here in South Florida is massive, but it's still relatively small at the same time. So spots down here where there's a lot of them. There is like there's beautiful Fort Lauderdale, Miami, out west by the Everglades, up here by Boca or West Palm, or like Parkland,
Mm.
dude, Homestead. If you want to go south towards the base, there's an abandoned section of the Air Force Base that's open to the public that you go to. It looks like
Oh
freaking,
wow.
it looks like Chernobyl. Like, excuse me, but there's so many of that, and finding it now for me, now I feel like I could pull off to the side of like a Starbucks and make it work.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
with like with like a nice like jet green emerald color car or something, or like we have the Wynwood Walls here, where like you could. The one thing I will always commend Florida on is that the architecture is nice. So if you can make a car look good with the proper architecture of a building design, I think, in my opinion, that'll always look good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I go to California, they have you name it, they got it. They
Yes.
got Pacific, they got beach, they got mountain, they got desert, they got, dude, I could
Incredible.
Dana Point, Laguna Beach, Crystal Cove, Newport, like, dude, I could go on and on and on. They have everything. Like they literally have every spot.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were to shoot out in Cali, if I were to shoot out in Cali, there's spots everywhere. But to
Yeah.
answer your question down here, I'm always looking for spots. I'm always seeking and finding. And lately, I've been like the other day, I took out a brand new GTS here, a brand new GTS hybrid, and I was just like, hey, I'm gonna go for like an hour, and I just drove around Pompano and going into Colgate, Margate and Coral Springs, just finding spots. And there's so many like doctors' offices and dentist
Little
offices that
niche
have like
spots.
little
Yeah.
cool architectural design to it, where I'm like, I could get rid of the sign. I could get rid of. I see it as the way of how it'll look if I clean it up, and I'm just like, oh, this will work awesome if I ever get a gentian blue or a dolomite silver car. I could go here with it. So, to answer your question, I'm always looking, and there's if you're a creator, you could always make something work. You don't need the
Yes.
spot to carry the photo. Or you don't need the car to carry the spot. Like, if you just have a nice proper car, you can make it work if you know how to do it.
I love those little niche spots that no one like no one would think of. Everyone thinks of like, oh, does it have a Google map location? Like, where is it? Like, there's some
Yeah.
spots that are just these random little like
Yeah.
nooks and crannies. There was one spot that I shot. I love it to death. It's gone now because someone bought the property and like tore the building down. But it was this spot right off this main road, and it was like an abandoned building that was overgrown with moss, and it was on this side street where like you just
Dude.
pass it, you don't even like see it, right? So I'm
Yeah.
like over here like panning all the time, and I see it, and I go in, and it was incredible. There was so much moss and a cool little like tower. So I did a few shoots that summer, and everyone was like, "Where is this? Where is this? Like this is." I'm like, dude, it's like this small little nook and cranny spot I just found.
Yeah.
It's like crazy, these little like spots you can find.
No, and to carry on with you on that one, I think I found one of those the other day,
Mm.
but I don't think I could ever go there because here in Pompano we call it Pompton, and on my way
Oh wow,
I found this awesome building. It's like a tricolor. So when you think of like the 70s, it's like a peach pink faded into like a yellow into a white into it
love that,
looked cute. Looks like
love
something
that.
out of the
Yeah,
60s. But as I'm driving down, it's right next to a gas station that has a shooting every 5 minutes, and
yeah.
it's like, and like these homeless people cleaning themselves at a water fountain. I'm just like, if I were to bring $350,000 GT3
Yeah, I
touring,
would.
they're gonna look
Yeah.
at it like a fresh meal. No offense,
Yeah.
but like it's just
No, I
like,
understand.
oh man, it just sucks. And then as I drove down, I saw Kodak Black's house, and
Oh wow.
I saw his Rolls Royce Cullinan outside. I'm just like, Kodak. So that was very cool. But yeah, so
Yeah, it's a
again,
balance. It was actually at
mhm,
that spot. There was a few like, sketchy people there that were just kind of
yeah,
walking around. I'm like, I don't know too
yeah,
much about this, but yeah,
yeah,
if you can pull it off, you can pull it off, and it's great.
mhm.
But I love that you said this on one other podcast. You love like listening to music and kind of connecting with like bands and how
Yes,
they perform, and that helps your art.
yes.
I'm so like compelled to get into this topic because I love listening to music. Music is what guides my storytelling. I'll put on
Mhm,
like cinematic music or like from
mhm,
movie soundtracks like Hans Zimmer, and I'll just
mhm.
write, and it just comes to me. So I want to know like how does music help you?
I would say to everybody that music is the number one tool for a proper mental health. I
Mm,
think music is the greatest creation that God has given the abilities for humans to do. I think the ability for us to create sounds with a effing guitar string
mm-hmm.
and somehow that sounds nice. God's created us to have the ability to create and heal and love, and that's I believe what every human's capable of doing. So to answer your question, I was waiting for this question on the interlude that you sent us
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I was so excited to answer this. I listen to music every day. Music was a big part of my life. My dad was a hippie growing up, smoked weed all the time, went to go see Led Zeppelin, Allman Brothers, like before we became a firefighter. My mom traveled with Whitesnake, all in Europe. So
Mm,
like that time, it just gets passed down to the generation to generation. So to answer your question again, dude, I'm listening to music every day. I'm a big hard rock and metal guy, so I just have to give a shout out to the musics that have saved my life, that have helped me and inspire me every day. Bands like Avenged Sevenfold, bands like Starset,
nice.
even newer bands like Bad Omens that you might have heard of, or Sleep
Yep.
Token, or these bands that are so lyrically driven and have and are mixed so well and produced so well that I don't even. It could be a rhythm, it could be a drum beat, it could be a guitar riff or lyrics. It's everything mashed together that could just take you out of the world that we live in now, which is a very chaotic world.
Yes.
That it just puts you in this world where it's very therapeutic, or like it inspires me. And I always think that I get all my inspiration from music, and to interpret a sound into the ability to create with a photo or a video with a car, it's hard to like, okay, how does that work? And to me, like even when I'm listening to the music, it's where I'm at, what I'm doing, what car I'm in, or how can I piece that mood, that satisfaction, that ability for a lyric, a breakdown, or a moment of song that makes me go, that generates that relief,
Yes.
that smile, that makes me go, all right, let's get out there and go. Like
Mm-hmm.
or like I'm big into synthwave, like 80s synthwave music. Like I have a synthwave channel that I listen to all day in my office sometimes, like if I get a little too metaled out. But it's like music and sound design, like again, I don't want to stem back to like the James Bond movies, but like to me, like what's a great, or like even like, dude, I could go on and on, like Oblivion, like one of my
Yeah.
favorite movies of all time with Tom Cruise, Oblivion. Like M83 did such a
Oh
phenomenal
yeah.
score on that movie that I watched that movie not just because, okay, yeah, it's Tom Cruise, great actor, great movie, sci-fi, whatever, but there's like a scene where like him and the girl are in the floating thing and M80 in the floating house, and
Mm-hmm.
like M83's electronic score of that just made me go. Like, dude, I'm like
Yeah.
tearing up. I'm like, I want to create stuff that makes people do that.
Yes.
Like that's what it's about. And it's like you hear it and it makes others so inspired, or makes others so touched that it makes them going, I want to help. I want to create something that can be touched by others. And for me, my mind is so on music, or my mind is so on cinema and music touching me, that it's my way of interpreting automotive photography and videography to touch others, for them to get out there and go create in the automotive space. Or not even that, they could use my automotive work to go out there and be a better real estate agent, or be a
Mm.
better, I don't know. Like I've met I'm very blessed when I say this. I'm very blessed that I've met so many people in different worlds that get inspired by my work, like business owners, pilots, like because ultimately we all love cars.
Yeah.
I will forever love a combustion engine motor going vroom vroom. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's okay, yes, EVs are taking over, but as long as Dodge keeps producing a supercharged
Yeah.
V8, Porsche keeps producing a 500 horsepower 4-liter flat six, Ferrari
We're
keeps
good.
producing a V10, V12. Like they put a V12 in an SUV. Like there's as long as we keep doing that, I just feel like creativity will thrive. And I this is going to be such a massive take what I'm about to say, but I believe every corporation and everything that makes the world run today is off of the satisfactory of something that stems from when they were a child. And that what I mean by that is either the government or these businesses,
Mm-hmm.
everything stems from what you love, appreciate, or have trauma from when you were a kid. And your decision making, how you treat others, or what creates you, what inspires you, are all things that reference from when you were younger. And again, to elaborate on that, for me, it was always music and cinema. And for me, that when I listen to new music, watch movies with phenomenal score like Blade Runner,
Yep.
2049, I could watch like Hans Zimmer's phenomenal. I'll forever love this Hans Zimmer train. Like he deserves it. But
Mm-hmm.
I it's hard to see the new generation of people hyping him up when I was there seeing Interstellar in 2014.
Yep.
Like, imagine seeing that first time, Interstellar 2014 in IMAX, or like
So
The
it's
Dark
funny.
Knight 2000 and what was Dark Knight? Oh 09
Uh,
or 8?
yeah, I think it was '09.
Oh
But
09.
that,
Imagine seeing that. Like, just, but like, this now all wraps up into my final part of this. Like, I will forever die. Like, I have a massive
mm,
Lord of the Rings tattoo. Howard Shore created one of the greatest
yes.
scores of all time that puts my mind like I'm in Rivendell or like as I'm a big fan, so sorry for the nerd talk, but like
No, it's good.
Howard Shore created one of the most incredible scores of all time that puts you into a place that doesn't exist. Like
Yes.
when you hear his Grey Havens audio, like you feel like you're there. Or like when you hear the Even Star song by Howard Shore, like you feel like you're with the elves or like
Yes.
it's very nerd talk, but I mean that. It's like or like at the end of like Harry Potter, like I forgot who did the score for the Harry Potter movies, but like when Harry defeats Voldemort in Harry Potter, that score when Voldemort's turning to ash, like dude, that just gives you goosebumps.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry, I was totally waiting for the whole music
No,
trends.
this is great.
For me, music just inspires so much and I hate to bring this up too, but like to yes, I'm big into metal and synthwave
Mm-hmm.
and phenomenal score cinema scores. Like I'll listen to cinema scores all day, from Howard Shore to Hans Zimmer. Like I'll listen to the cinema score all day. Like the original Jurassic, the one that created it all was
Mm-hmm.
John Williams in Jurassic Park. When you hear that theme song, Jurassic Park doesn't exist, dude.
Yeah.
But when you hear it, your mind goes there. And it's that connection for your mind to go somewhere, for your mind to be touched. That is what art is all about. And dude, you just got me
No, this
totally
is great.
ranting on this. And like, dude, even if you go into the rap world, like up until he went absolutely batshit crazy, like I'm not gonna I'm gonna say this like on the Mount Rushmore of R&B producers and rappers, Kanye West is there.
Mm.
Like I still could listen to my Deep Dark Darkest Fantasy, or I could listen to Yee, or I could listen to anything pre Donda, or Life of Pablo, or anything. Like he created, wrote, mixed all that. Like somebody did that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you listen to my Deep Dark and Twisted Fantasy, you listen to that song or that album and you're like, somebody wrote, produced, mixed, wrote this, write it, everything. And you're like, they package it up and dish it out there for you to listen to. And that probably inspired half of the artists that are now popping off today. And so many, and that's just, you got me ranting, dude.
No,
And
this is
that's in
good.
terms of just the world of the of creators. It's like everything, like I said in the beginning of the podcast, everything, it's either you're a creator in pre-COVID or you're a creator in post-COVID because these post-COVID creators have no idea the level of depth of what has already been done and what's out there. They're just so quick to hop on these hype trends with photographers, video creators, movies, blah 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 blah, cinemas and all that stuff. I'm just like, you guys have no idea
Yeah.
like what is out there. And so that's why I always talk to people that have been around longer that actually know. Like, and I don't want to bash the younger groups because these younger guys are awesome. Like,
Yeah.
dude, this younger generation that I'm meeting of post-COVID creators, like, there's some pretty awesome people out there. Like that I will sit down and talk with, but they just have no idea like the back end of it, of like how like
Sure.
ISO works or how like anything like
The method learning.
exactly. Just they're
That's
blessed with the creative ability, and I respect that so much because if you're blessed with that creative ability, imagine what you could do if you start understanding and harnessing it. And that's what I try to do with the generation now. But again, to go back to answering your question before I rant on even more, yes, I believe music is the number one most therapeutic, inspiring, mental healing for mental health. I believe that is what that could create a good day or a bad day. If you're looking forward to listening to a song, good for you. If it's the Barbie soundtrack by Nicki Minaj, or if it's the hardest of hardest songs by I don't know, what's the hardest song I listened to recently by We Came as Romans. Like music's music. It
hmm
inspires everybody, newer, younger, older, whatever, the broken people, the put together people. I've met doctors, like white collar doctors that listen to the heaviest of metal of like rotting Christ. Like this is heavy death metal. And these are the most passionate, loving individuals I've ever met. But to them, that's what fuels them. That's what gives them inspiration in life to do what they do to impact and help others. So hopefully I didn't rant too much about that, but
no,
I just think
just
it's subjective.
just because we're here on the music part, I'm
Yeah.
a huge advocate of music. I even have each so starting in college, I made playlists per semester, so I
Okay.
can go back to that playlist and experience that semester again.
Yeah.
Because I have literally every semester from sophomore year onwards is its own playlist with a title referencing like symbolically referencing like what happened in that period, and I can go back
Oh,
and like
that's smart.
relive
Smart.
that story. So like for one of them, and this is a huge idea I have. I want to turn this whole like college music experience into something way bigger, but to just go and simplify things, I have like Spotify playlists. Like one of them is Adagio, which is slowly in Italian. And to not go too much into it, that semester, taking things slowly was important for me.
Yeah.
So that was the bridge of like, okay, I like this name. That's the name of this like little movie of like what
Yeah.
this is. And each song in it, I can go back and listen and I'm like, I'm in my junior year. Like I listen and I hear like all the experiences I
Yep.
had from my junior year. It's an incredible
To me,
tool.
listening to Black Parade by My Chemical Romance, it's like I knew where I was when that album came out, and
Yeah.
watching it on MTV when I was getting ready for school, or like you just know where you are at all times when all these when music first got
hmm
dropped. So I agree with dude. That's pretty cool that you do that. I think that's
Yeah.
pretty awesome that you do that.
I love where music can take me. It's incredible.
No,
But
I agree with you, Tony. Spot on.
love it. So going back to photography,
Yeah,
I know we had a little music
I know.
discussion, which is I think
I
everyone
know.
should benefit from. But
I think so too.
um, do you think you said once before, I don't know if it was in the podcast or somewhere else, but you said like sometimes the career can sacrifice relationships, maybe
Yeah.
friendships with people, like this photography hectic career.
Yeah.
Could you maybe open up about like what has that been like for you, and is it been a bitter pill to swallow?
No, it's okay. I feel like now I could answer that with full honest and interpret
Mm-hmm.
and able to convey this in a very teaching way. Um, the career is very time demanding, and the one thing that I've learned that I tell many people as well is um, opportunity comes back, money does no, money comes back, opportunity does not. So I'll say that again. Money comes back, opportunity does not. So when that happens, typically people think like, oh, okay, I'll wait for the opportunity, or I'll wait for this to happen, or I'll wait for this to happen. I'm just like, mm, that shouldn't be the proper way to go about it because the career demands so much time, and you only get 17 hours in a day because the rest of the time you're sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good question. I'm just trying to figure out where to properly
Mm-hmm.
start. And it's for me now, being doing this for 11 years now, it takes a certain level of understanding. And I feel like 90% of everybody in this world have no idea what they're doing. And I feel like 10, the other 10% do, but only 1% do something with it. And those 10% is those people out there that will understand the lifestyle. They'll understand what it is to be a creator and what it is to be, you know, how much time it takes to focus
Mm-hmm.
on photo and video work. And I've met so many creators or inspirations of mine that have had successful relationships and have not had it because those significant others didn't understand. But when it's such a good question, Tony, and I'm trying to properly answer it.
Mm.
And it's just
It's definitely hard because it's like,
it
you
is,
know,
and it's
valuing
it's
career.
it is because it's subjective because the same goes to, somebody that's trying to become a rock star, or it's the same amount of time or effort as somebody who's doing 12 years of being a doctor. I mean, yeah, some people might look at it as, oh, at the end of the day, they're going to make $1 million and 15 years from now. But how about the person that's doing it, that's starting a business and starting a marketing company or a photography company or a videography or a production company that who says that they're going to be not going to be making that same 15 years from now? And that's the risk. And dude, relationship wise, what I've just come to learn is that as long as you're just your honest self and you just, dude, that's a very good question because it's just very subjective
Mm-hmm.
to
Yes.
everybody because I'm very blessed that I'm in a very healthy relationship, and my girlfriend is a creator as well. She has a full-time career, but she also loves taking photos of couples, and
Mm-hmm.
she's a full-blown professional. So she understands. So having someone that understands the lifestyle and equally does it themselves has made it, I'm not gonna lie to you, 90% better. But how often are you gonna find a significant other
Yeah.
that is in that same field? You could be with somebody and they're a teacher. You could be
Yeah.
with somebody and they work behind a desk at a car dealership, and or they they're it's again, it's subjective. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like finding, dude, it's like finding that one person. It's just they're out there, and I'm just and dude, that's just a very good question, Tony. Hopefully I answered that.
It's
Hopefully I didn't
it's
butcher this answer. It's just the risk that I've taken has lost me a lot. I've had to give up. I've had opportunities like what I said in the beginning, where the opportunities come and the
yeah.
money comes back, opportunity doesn't. There's been so many times throughout my 20s, from literally being 20 years old to 29
Yeah.
years old, and now being 30. I just recently turned it. But my whole 20s was just, I tell everybody, I'm like, take all the risks and opportunities, do it. I'm like, oh, if you're over here trying to find a loved one, if you're over here trying to find your wife, you're over here trying to find, that person will find you. You're not in control of that. You're not in control of life. You just have to, life will humble you, and life will let you know very badly, roughly, physically or mentally, that you're not in control by doing something in life that you're not going to be happy with. Like
Well,
with
you're
a family
speaking to
member,
me
a
right now.
job, or anything. And it's like now, um, I'm sorry to cut you off there, Tony,
No,
but
no, go
now
ahead.
it's like, dude, I tell everybody in their 20s that are in this field, I just like take every opportunity, every risk that I did too, if not more, because I've done so much risk taking
Mm-hmm.
and opportunity taking. But it's like, if I were to do it all again, I would just say yes to every gig. I would just be like, oh, you want me to go here? Okay, I'm on my way. Because it's like money will always come back, and it's like we're so focused on becoming successful that you forget that you spent money. You spent $30 on a burger or a meal at Chipotle the other day, or whatever you ate last week.
Or
You
you
forget it
travel.
because it already came back.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to look at the opportunities the same way. And I would just say if you're in a relationship and it's tensioned or it's tough and you're just being honest with yourself and you're just so focused on wanting to create and get out there and taking every opportunity you can, do it. Because don't let another person's wants diminish your ambition. Don't let another person's misunderstanding ruin your value. Don't let it's again, it's subjective because it's
Mm-hmm.
just I would just say ultimately for those that are trying to understand the coming and goings of relationships, friendships, or anything is that just stay focused and just don't let others get in your way. And it's either your back's against the wall, it's kill or be killed, do or die. And it's just like, yo, this is what I want in my life. I'm taking this opportunity to further because I believe that it'll be good for my brand. I believe it'll be good for me. If you're not coming with me, then, you know, that's your choice. And
Mm-hmm.
again, that goes into a whole other topic of choice. If you're choosing to do a gig or you're choosing to take this opportunity to either drive an hour, 30 minutes for a gig that could help and benefit your career for the future, I would tell everybody do it. And if,
Yes.
oh, but my girlfriend will be upset, excuse my language, fuck them.
Yeah.
Because I'm very blessed that I have always had relationships, only some that have been understanding of it to a limit, where I'm very blessed now that we work together as a team, or if I get a gig or if she gets a gig, it's go.
Yeah.
Or hey, I'll come with you, support you. So I'm very blessed now. And that only happened on my 30th year. So it's like I've only been 34, a month now, but
Mm-hmm.
my 30th year now here we are going into September has been 9 months. So, I've only been blessed for that for now. But it's just, yeah. So to answer it, I would just say for those struggling with that, flat out take every opportunity. If they don't understand, that's not your problem. Remember that.
I love that because that was kind of a message speaking directly to me too. I'm 21
Ah,
years of age, so I'm like,
dude, you're killing it for
absorbing.
21, bro.
Thank you. I
Seriously.
appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Seriously.
But yeah, no, that's like been my whole thing. I just graduated in May of this year from college.
Congratulations.
So thank you. Yeah. So I've been like, there's been a lot of uncertainty for me too, and just this whole world of I don't work a job. I just make money from my camera. It's like a scary. It feels scary sometimes, but it's nice to know. Coming from someone like you to just trust yourself, take the risks that you can take, and everything will work out. So I love that.
Thank you, Tony. I really appreciate that. And congratulations again on your graduating. But I really appreciate you saying that because it's it's been a long road.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of heartbreak and being down here in Miami and South Florida, you're very surrounded by I'm gonna go on a little rant here about that and about you're just surrounded by a very toxic environment.
Mm-hmm.
And down here in South Florida, everything's very flashy. Everything's a facade, fugazi, fake. And when you grow up, I was always taught by my uncles that and my father that you don't know shit until you're 30.
Mm.
And I was always told that, but being a young man, your ego gets there and you're just like, yeah, what do you know? Well, now I'm 30, that's 100% the truth. And I will tell everybody that is that you don't know anything until you're 30. And even when you turn 30, you're just now starting to understand life and society. And now I'm very blessed that I could confidently say with my gut, I do. And it came at a cost. It does. It comes at a cost that, Tony, you being a young man, it's just like you're going to make decisions and choices that are going to hurt others. You have to understand, many people have to understand that your choices will have a ripple effect of waves like an ocean. It's going to have a ripple effect and it's going to impact things. It's going to hit, it's good. Those waves are going to hit things. And you just have to at the end of the day, you just have to be a good person and your
Mm-hmm.
intentions have to be good. And as long as your intentions are good and you're a good person and you choose kindness and happiness every day, you're going to be a good person, Tony. And for those that are
Mm.
watching it, I hope this will touch others, but
Yeah.
it's going to come to the point where, being a man is just, it's the true definition of masculinity is just so hard to find now because there's so many people out there that have such a toxic outlook on it. I'm very blessed that I have three sisters and I have two moms. So feminism to me, like to me, there's nothing wrong with, a woman doing this that a man can do, or a man
Mhm.
doing something that this can do. Because I can't say what my girlfriend does for her career, but what she does is in a massive, massive, massive male world, and she crushes it. She's the best one of the best
Mhm.
ones in her field. And it just goes hand to hand that a man should understand that your role in life is to be X, Y, and Z. But we could go on and on about that. But
Mhm.
just you, Tony, being 21, just be honest, be kind, choose just choose kindness every day, and you're gonna be all right.
I love that. I think a lot of people they worry about in the
Just be a good
photography world.
person. Like you don't have to be a piece of shit to. I meet
Yeah.
so many people where they choose to be just bad people.
Well, in
And
the
I'm like,
creator
what's wrong with you?
space, that's huge in the creative space. I've met creators that are like that, and that they think
Yeah.
their shit doesn't stink, and
Mhm.
their work is amazing, and you're a nobody, so like get out of my face, like don't talk to me, and
I
like
hate people like that. Like that's
yeah,
why I just stay. And I'm sorry to cut you off there, Tony,
no,
but
no,
just to
go ahead.
go on with, it's like I rarely go to like car shows or car events or like creator events because to me I know a lot of people there, and I just don't want to get in the way because it's for others to meet others, and it's for other people to show off their work and stuff. Because when I meet people at in public or across the internet that message me their work, I love talking to them. Like there's so many like where I get people saying, "Yo, I did this in Forza because
Mm-hmm.
there's a camera mode in Forza Horizon 4," and I'm just like, "That's crazy because that's what I had when I was a
Yeah.
kid." So I love talking to those people. I love talking to kids that take my photos and make drawings out of them or make paintings out of them or take like it's just really cool. Or people buy Porsches because of my review on one, or people buy this because it's cool and it's awesome and it's nice to see that I was able to help others.
Mm.
And for you to bring up those that have the ego where they think their shit doesn't stink, those people choose that.
Yes.
And now my understanding of life is by choice. You go through life making choices every day, and those people choose that. And I will forever strongly despise people that think their blood isn't the same color as you or I's. They think
Mm-hmm.
their blood's more pure red. Like, dude, your color is the same color as mine. Like, you're a human. You shower every day. You sleep in a bed every day. We eat food every day. Like, you're no different than me. Like, you're not. Like, and I will
Yeah.
flat out tell somebody at that where, okay, does this person have more money than me? Do I have more money than this person? That doesn't matter. Like, to me, good good individuals choose to be kind and help others every day, and they choose to be useful every day. And then there's people that just come across my way that choose to look down and up at somebody and come up with a judge or an assumption of somebody without even getting to know their name or what they do on their free time or how they've impacted others. Those people, excuse my language, those people I hope rot in hell.
No,
But
I
or
think
who
it's.
knows? Maybe they just haven't had an ego check yet, or they just haven't had a traumatic thing happen in their
Mm-hmm.
life that made them wake up. Because what I've learned as a young man becoming into a man is there's always between the ages of 28, 29, 30, and 31, a man will go through such a traumatic life event that it wakes him up, and then you understand and you view life differently. And it's happened to me, it's happened to friends of mine, where just something traumatic happens in your life where you just go, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I understand now.
I love
And
that.
that'll happen to you one day, Tony. I hope it does. It doesn't have to be a bad thing, it'll be a good thing. Like just
Mm-hmm.
something will happen where you're just gonna go,
Yeah.
you're just gonna feel like you got hit by a train. You're gonna be like, I understand now. Like you could get a job, you could get a career, you could get something. It'll either be good or bad. Like it'll happen to you, Tony, and you're gonna be like, okay, I
Yeah.
understand now. Like you start understanding what's important, what's not important. But I don't want to go too much, but
No,
I think all of this just creates a phenomenal creator. I do. Like
that's
it's all about here, always.
yes.
Here is what you see. This is everything. This is what when you grow up and you are shown the color board in front of you and you click the color red, that just shows that you have a creative side. Like it's just having a proper mental health, physical health, being a good person, just finding inspiration every day, always being inspired by others, by music, by everything. All of those will just make you a better creator. And I look at my work before I took all that seriously, and I look back at it now, I'm like, it's cool, but I don't think it's as cool as what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Because now I just view things so differently, and it just makes me enjoy creating more from video. Like I've been doing hardcore video work for about 9 months now,
Mm.
and I'm loving it. Like I just feel like it's another way for me to showcase what's in my mind, or how I see cars, or how I see a car being remembered, like, or how I see, I don't know. Like there's, dude, I could go on and on. Like there's a GT3 RS video that I made on my YouTube, and somebody went, "Yo, this is the reason why I'm buying one." I'm like, "Good for you, man."
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. Maybe I'm just ranting a little too
No,
much.
I love that because it's I have a lot of young male viewers too,
Yeah.
which is like either friends of mine or people that know me on social media. Because I kind of market this to my following on my personal Instagram, so I have a lot of people that's very relevant to what you're saying, and it's not something that is talked about really a lot. So
Mhm.
I love that. But on the mental health point, I think it's great that you brought up the importance of that. But I know you said before that your ego was horrible when you started blowing up on social media.
Yeah.
Like, how was that whole process? And like, what? Just walk me through like that whole like what was up here when you blew up on social media, and like how did you deal with it the wrong way? When did you find out this is not healthy? Where was that?
I started noticing it with how I was treating my family and my friends. And I think it just comes in stages. And I just think that, when you're young, I think I was like 19, 20 when the edgy stuff really started to go for me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Was it like a specific post or what was
no,
it?
it was for me, I always wanted to make a car remembered by its motion, which is why I always focused on rolling
Yes.
stone.
Yes.
And I always wanted to get the coolest cars. Excuse me. I always wanted to get the coolest cars, and just because when you see a car, it's meant to drive, not just sit there. So
Mm-hmm.
like I always wanted to show what it looks like in motion, either with a video or a photo. And for me, when I started really going in on perfecting my rolling photos and videos, that was when it started to
Take off.
really take off, you could say, or started to get more noticed. And I started to just get so many people wanting to meet with me and pay me for a shoot or do this or that. Some people want to do it for free because I was so young, and you just, you just, you just, I don't want to keep saying the same thing over and over again, but you just start feeling like you're untouchable. You just start
Mm-hmm.
feeling like, oh, you're the guy. But you just feel like that until somebody else could do the same thing as you. And you're like, oh, and then you start getting upset. Or you start seeing other photographers out there getting work that you're not getting. And then you start developing like you're a little upset. You start getting a little FOMO because you have a little bit of an ego.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like then, and then when you develop all that jealousy, you develop that upset, that frustration, you know, you turn into an asshole, and you just treat your family and your friends just bad. You start just not bad like you're like a bad person, but you just start just being rude, or you just
Yeah.
start being like, oh, that you feel like you deserve these gigs, or you feel like you deserve. Nobody deserves anything in life. Like we come into this world, we deserve life, love, and the ability to heal and create. I believe we deserve that, and to do that, we were given that by God. But for you to, for me at a younger age, this is 7, 8 years ago. For me to feel like I was deserving of that, that's where I was looking at it totally wrong. And I feel like there's people out there that have bigger fan bases or bigger audiences, and they have those egos still. And unfortunately, they're in a state or in a crowd where those people feed them. Those people feed those egos. They put them on that pedestal. And I always think that those people that have it are very short lived. It quickly crashes. So like, have you ever seen a creator or an influencer go like this, really, 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 really fast?
Yep.
It's gonna fall immediately. The I always think of the Tom Brady effect because that's a big inspiration for me. Was little effort, one step at a time. Now that one little span, that upscale, is now turning to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years.
Yes.
now people are like, oh, I know that guy. He's legit and he's nice. He's awesome. He's all that. That's what inspired me as I got older. But yeah, no, the whole ego thing now, it's just like, but again, it just tags into just the youth and immaturity. It just takes growing up. It just takes
Mm-hmm.
getting ego checked. It takes your friends and your loved ones to look at you and say, yo, like you're an asshole, or like yo, fuck you. Like excuse my language again, but it's just
Mm-hmm.
like it takes all that. But then again, I was very blessed that I have loved ones that were willing to step up and tell me all these
Yeah.
things, or to tell me these things because they care. Because at the end of the day, if somebody checks you or ego checks you or calls you out, they're saying it because they care. They're not. If they didn't care, they would just stay quiet and they would just watch your demise. And those people suck. but
Yeah.
but no, but yeah. So that's the best way I could probably answer that.
I love that. I think yeah, a lot of people get just they're big in the social world. Also, like people that blow up quick, it's almost like they're not ready for all that, and they
Mhm.
just run with it, and it's like it's always short lived. Always.
Mhm.
I've never seen a creator that's blown up super quick that is still relevant. It's
Mhm.
always a slow burn on these people that have been working and been industry bulls for years that really and going back to like the old versus new
And they
world thing.
resort back to those people, like because as they do the method of one small step at a
Mhm.
time, they always come back saying, "Yo, I remember this person. Yo, they're crushing it still. I'm
Yeah,
gonna follow. I'm gonna keep up with their content."
cuz I'm in like a weird position I feel like cuz everyone tells me that like oh like you act like you're not you act like older than you are like your values or whatever like I'm not gonna go into too much of that but like just my upbringing I've always been like my dad's taught me to really learn things and really spend time like
Mhm.
actually understanding what you're doing and I feel like photographers my age I don't really resonate with anyone or like
Mhm.
videographers or like filmmakers I literally work with everyone that I work with is like 5, 6, 7 years older than me. I don't
Yeah.
like there's no one my age that and that's not I'm not putting myself at a higher I'm not saying I'm more qualified or whatever. I'm just
Mhm.
my mental perception is like I just feel like I don't connect and I like I don't know where I'd be categorized as new or old because I did start before COVID, but at the same time like I'm 21. I feel like I'm Gen Z, so to speak, but I
Mhm.
just don't feel like I resonate with anyone. It's just a weird
So if
thing.
you're trying to find, in my opinion, thank you for telling me that. If you're so focused on, not so focused, but if you think because you feel like you don't fit in or you can't resonate with them, spend more time with them. Spend more time with them and try not to relate with them on anything other than just creating and just have fun doing it. Um, if you're forcing yourself into there where you're hanging out with people that are older than you, don't force it. I would say I was the exact same way. I feel like, as I mentioned before, Sam and Anthony, they're 6 years older than me. So at the time when I was that 18, 19-year-old kid, they were already in their mid to older 20s. So it was hard to relate or to talk to them because they were at a different point of their life. And it was hard to resonate with them because they were a whole other generation. They grew up watching other movies or other shows and being old school, listening to Linkin Park on a cassette tape on the side of the sidewalk, riding a skateboard. Like for me, that wasn't it. For me growing up, it was like brink of the creation of the iPhone, and you would ride your scooter, and then you would go play street football and go home and play airsoft. Like it was just a different generation. So, for you, in my opinion,
It's funny you
Tony,
said that
I
because
would say,
I feel not to cut you off, but like I feel like the same way right
yeah,
now because it's literally the 10 year plus gap right now,
yeah,
and it's just like I can't like they're starting kids, they're getting married. I'm like, dude, I'm fresh out of college.
yeah,
Like we don't have the same priorities. It's just
yeah.
weird.
Then my best advice would be F them because ultimately, yes, I'm around a phenomenal team during the week, but all the other times I just like being by myself. Well, obviously with my girlfriend, but in a creative space, I just want to find that individual with a car and just be with them, talk to them, get to know them, and just create with them and their do photo video of their car, make them happy, focus on them being remembering me, and that's
Hmm.
it. I just so if anything, I take back my advice. If anything, spend less time with them. If
Hmm.
anything, get out there and just try to get. more gigs on your own and
I
try
will
to.
say though, like there is a level of knowledge though and like expertise I've learned from those older guys that have helped me like a
Yeah.
ton. You know, like there's
And when will it be
definitely
too much? When will it be to the point where you're like, okay, I've heard this, I've heard this, I've heard this. Now let me get out there and go put it into effect. Let me get
mm,
out there and go actually do it. If that
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. So there's a lot of like individuality, you know, understanding your place and like in the
Hmm.
world in a
Yeah.
grander sense.
Yeah.
So if you had to describe your like creative identity in like a word or two or sentence, like what would it be? Like what's the K Fletch brand?
I never viewed it as that, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to give you an answer.
Yeah.
I just want to. This is just going to be very. This is going to sound egotistical, but it's not because I don't believe it. It's just in a do or die situation. I just get up every day at 6 a.m. and meet with a car, a client, a business, a company. I do everything day by day because I just want to be the best.
Mm.
That's just the absolute honest truth. Do I think I am? No. Just a normal little speckle in society. I'm a little star in a universe of them. I'm this little tiny little person, and I know that I am. I know that I'm that tiny little person, but my mind is just so focused on I just want to be the best and just be useful and be
Yeah.
remembered for just be memorable and just I just want to be the best that there possibly ever was and I'm not gonna ever stop at it. I'm not gonna
Mm.
let anybody get in my way on it. I'm never gonna I can never be bought out because the mind and my creativity can't be bought. It can't be taken away from me. Like it's people that I've seen create things and they sell it and then now they can't do anything else but they can create something or like to me it's like I'm very blessed that I have an artistic mind such as yourself, Tony, that nobody will ever be able to take that away from me. You can't take that out of my head. You would have to kill me to take it out of my head.
Mm.
But I just want to keep creating in this automotive world, and I want to. I every day I wake up and I tell myself I want to be the best there ever is, best there ever was. Good
I
old.
love that.
You probably don't know that. Good old Bret Hart. I'm the best there ever was, best there ever is, and best ever doing, or whatever
Is
the.
that a generational thing? Are we seeing that gap right now?
Um, no. So to me, just growing up, my inspirations were my father. And dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. As I know you're a New York guy. I know you're gonna rub the Giants winning in my face, but to me, it was just watching Tom Brady's ethic.
Mm.
I'm just constantly, day by day, day by day, day by day, day by day,
Yeah.
keep going and keep going. And if anybody gets in your way, quote unquote, by him, I'm not saying it. If anybody gets in your way, fuck them, is what he says.
I love
Yeah.
that.
So I
So,
just think everybody should have a really strong, focused mental health mindset.
mm, I love that. There's definitely a unique angle we haven't delved into on this
Yeah.
platform. So I love that.
Yeah.
So final question to close this, kind of wrap this in the bow. We've
Sure.
talked about. I love the whole mental health side, but you've going back to the relationships part. Like, what is something like that photography has given you that's like that you wouldn't trade for anything? That's like
Another
something
phenomenal question, Tony. Dude, you're good.
I like to dig deep, so you know.
If I were to be on the high heavens looking down on this earth, I could look at God Himself and say, photography has given me photography has given me the incredible experience to travel all around to beautiful places, to meet incredible human beings, to be touched by them, to be loved by them, to learn from them, to sometimes fucking hate them. But it's just allowed me to do what I love every single day. People trust me and lean on me for a creative vision to help them in their life, help their company, or help what they created. And they created something like wheel companies or carbon fiber companies or even like a Porsche or a car brand or anything that these people put their time and love into a product and they trust me and showcasing it to the world. And I think photography has taught me discipline, kindness, work ethic, um, it's taught me just how to be a happy individual, how to be a happy person, and just to love what I do every single day. And it's still teaching me to this day. And it's teaching me life. It's teaching me discipline. It's teaching me
Mm.
it's and I know I'm probably retorting and regurgitating so much things, but it's I'm just speaking my mind, and it's I could just thank this creative world of photography as thank you for allowing me to view the world through my own lens, not the normal lens of the 90 percenters is what I told you earlier, because I just feel like 90% of everybody have no idea what they're doing. And 10% have an idea, but only 1% do it. And with photography, it's allowed my eyes to view that way to where I beat a 1%er, them that person I could just hit it off because those people love life. They're good people. They're smart. They're funny. They're charismatic. They're polite. They're just happy and they understand. And I just feel like there's people out there that just have an idea and they're trying to figure it out. Like when I meet those people, you could tell they're focused to get out of the slump that they're in, and I hope may God bless their journey. But then there's those 90 percenters, the 90 percenters that have no idea. They get up, drive to work, go home, and to them, they choose that life, and they believe that that's the life to have, to wake up, work a 9 to 5, go home, don't exercise, cook your normal PB&J, do the absolute bare minimum. There's people out there that do that and they choose that. And I'm very blessed that photography and this journey has taught me to hopefully be in that 1% where I choose to be better every day.
That
Hopefully that's good.
no, that's a mic drop. That was incredible.
That's all from the gut. I don't have a script. I'm being completely honest with you, man.
I love that. No, that you gave an Oscar speech in a car.
No, no, no.
No, this has been incredible, Kyle. Really, really happy we made this happen. This is
Tony, I could only say so much, and that I really appreciate the opportunity. This is all by your choice. You chose to reach out to me, and we both chose to do this, and I can only wish you nothing but the best. I hope God blesses your journey, and I am going to New York soon, so I'm definitely going to reach out to you. Maybe we'll go to an Islanders
awesome.
game or a
Oh, yeah.
Rangers game or something. I don't know how long the train takes you to go to, probably Penn Station or somewhere,
Oh,
maybe
it's a
New
45
York, to go
minutes.
to a Devils game. But I'm a big Panthers fan. I'm a big hockey fan. I live and die for hockey and football. So hopefully when I'm up there, we'll get to hang out. But
Yes,
Tony, you're an
absolutely.
amazing individual. You asked the greatest questions. I knew going into this, my gut was telling me that this was probably going to be one of the best, if not the best podcast interview I've ever done. So I wish you nothing but the best. Tony, you have you have a great head on your shoulders. You're very optimistic. You're very charismatic. You do your research. You're well prepared. The one thing that I learned when I was in ROTC growing up, were the 5 Ps, was prior planning prevents piss poor performance. And I could tell you that you put the time and the preparation into everything you do, not just me, but with everything that you do this amount of effort. And as long as you keep going and you don't look back, I think you're going to be an amazing individual. And I mean that. I mean, completely
Thank
honest.
you. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I think this going, looking in hindsight, like this is going to be a big one for the podcast. So I'm really glad we did this. So yeah, that's a wrap, man. Thank you so much.